Bear with me 1 second. That's the son of a bear. I'm just gonna grab a drink and then we'll start. Let's see if this works, eh? What? Huh? It's some of the wall. How good's that? Oh, it's pretty good. They are perfect. Yeah. Oh. Oh, no. So, I just saw this posted up on... No. On the Star Citizen Twitter.
Initial reports are saying 1 dead, 2 injured, as yet another civilian ship has been targeted in this system-wide rash of violent pirate attacks, with local security details and even the advocacy seemingly powerless to stop these invaders.
Pirate attacks? Maybe it's the slicers. Prepare to save Stanton! So, interesting, eh? So that just got posted up on the Star Citizen Twitter. And that's part of the Save Stanton missions they're coming with 3.24.3. So they're testing that out at the moment on the Open PTU and all that sort of jazz. It's against the slicers. We don't know a huge amount about them. In fact, we know very, very little about them. But the events are pretty cool. So it's lots of missions in different phases. And some of those missions are things like retake a distribution center, defend it, clear out the enemies, prevent some of the enemies getting away, stuff like that. It's pretty cool and pretty in-depth and can be done at sort of scale with how many people you've got in your party. There's a variety of different missions, and it's global so that other people can get involved and help you. Yeah, very cool. It'll be interesting to see if the servers hold up. And are CIG going to be running this during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, or are they going to be running it afterwards? Well, they could be running it before, but is it basically? I'm interested to know is it going to be a run during the IAE to give something for players to do. Sort of interested to know what people think. Hello! I've got quite a bad cold at the moment. Well, I'm on the tail end of it now. Like I'm mostly better. I've got an occasional cough. I sound bung up. How many people got sick from going to CitizenCon? I was one of the unlucky ones. I hope I didn't get sick. I got sick. Got CitizenCon flu. But any social event like that or bar citizen typically that's on for a couple of days, I'll get sick because I'm very tactile. Do you expect you will be building a space base next year? And when will there be rotisserie chicken food in game? So they haven't got chickens yet, have they? That's a good point. We need space chicken. It'll be some sort of Xi'an bird they've decided to put in. Yeah. Oh no, it'll be a Tavaran bird. Oh no, Baba Tavarans. So I don't think we'll be building space bases next year. Base building, yeah. Space stations, no. That's going to be later. Part of 1.0, but base building on the ground first. And I'm very much looking forward to it. So base building is one of the big things that I want to do, because it's sort of all the industry sort of wrapped up into one, right? Hey, Bored, can you tell us what CitizenCon thing you were surprised is further along? I was surprised, but also accurate with the sandworm stuff. So that was cool. Instance dungeons, some of the sort of instanced plans they've got. Very, very happy with a load of that stuff. I mean, just them getting base building into a reasonably good... I mean, they know what they're doing with it, right? They know what they want to do with it. A lot of people argue with that, with the Galaxy sort of drama that's been on recently, but what I liked about CitizenCon is it felt like everything they showed is stuff that they can reasonably get in game within the next 18 months, other than base bases. Yeah, it was cool seeing the Vandal actually be alien-y and Vandal-y, right? Vandal presence in the persistent universe. Well, maybe we'll have that with Nyx, and that's one of the reasons they want to have the Nyx system, right? It makes sense for them then to have the Vandal attacking that system. Or active there. Robert Johnston, thank you so much for those gift memberships. Robert Johnston, big supporter of the channel, along with like people like JP and stuff. I genuinely appreciate it. Beautiful, beautiful people. So, I'm not sure if JP's here. JP and anyone else that asked questions for CitizenCon, a load of questions have been answered. I just haven't got around to doing the video yet. I've got a big book of big book of pages and pages and pages and pages and pages, all from CitizenCon and me talking to devs. So got like maybe 40 pages of stuff. 85. That I need to dig through, make sure none of it's technically NDA'd. However, I'm pretty smart in going, I'm not sure if I should have been told this, or I don't sure if I publish this. I'll just double check the CIG to make sure they're not going to be upset with it. And also it gives me a reason to contact them and go, is this the case, or is this just a off-the-cuff comment? If you'd like to give me any more further details. And let me just double check some stuff, and then I'll be putting up here's some extra information that we found out and some questions. And some of it's sort of like I was able to talk to Benoit randomly on Sunday after CitizenCon, because he came out while I was hanging around waiting for an office tour, and he went, oh yeah, we're walking to the office if you want to join us. I was like, oh cool, yeah. So I talked to him for about 15 minutes, him just talking about what they've been working on, the server meshing and their plans for 1.0. It was absolutely awesome. And there was various other devs with them as well, and they all chatted to me, so that was awesome. I got to talk very briefly to Chris, but it was just more of a, I love you. That was me to him, not the other way around. Robert Johnson, again, beautiful boy. Thank you very much for being a member for 76 months. I'm so sorry that you've wasted your life with me. They backtracked on the Galaxy, so I wish the Phoenix would get some of its features back. Oh, and to whoever asked... Oh, it's gone. That's what it says. So, I would expect the Phoenix to get some modularity or the ability to have lots of different luxury components in there. Something I know what you mean with some of the Phoenix stuff, but let's see what happens, and let's see where sort of VIP gameplay goes as well. Thoughts on how base building's envisioned? It's smart the way they're doing it so far, right? They're going, you can build on deposits of materials, and they are a limited quantity, but they might last quite a long time. So you can have these extraction bases, which effectively might start moving around. Resources will respawn-ish based on certain criteria, but not in exactly the same location that you were digging them. So sort of bear that in mind. You can have bases for lots of different reasons. So it could be for storage, you can have your underground sort of hangars, it could be for manufacturing, refining, it can be all of that, but extraction is going to be a big one. I really like the idea they've got for them, having the different drones basically build them. Like, that's nice and simple. They grab resources that are nearby, again, nice and simple, and use the blueprint system and sort of build away. Yeah, I think it's great. Give me top-down view, drones and blueprints and holograms. Nice and simple, does what they want. That's what I want. They touched on pledge ship insurance, but what about pledge armor and weapons? Will that be able to be retrieved? So the ship stuff, obviously the tier 1, 2, and 3, or level 1, 2, and 3 insurance cover ships, and then the components and weapons, and then decorations. For FPS gear and items, they have not gone into insurance yet, but I would expect there'll be insurance for FPS gear. There's supposed to be, like, in the future, retrieval for it, right? They want to be able to retrieve your rare gear and stuff. But it's some of the new questions, or questions that are still yet to be answered from CitizenCon, right? Are you still positive about Star Citizen Future Mate? Cheers. Much more than previous. Well, I say much more than previous. It's about what I expected, right? I'm pretty bullish on Star Citizen. Yes, the development cycle is ridiculously long, significantly longer than I ever expected. They are starting to, but I'm sort of willing to give them the time because of how trash lots of other games I've wanted have been in the meantime. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's terrible. So I'm playing Deadlock at the moment. I'm quite enjoying Deadlock. So they showed off a lot of stuff that I wanted them to show off at CitizenCon. They've given me a confidence that they can do that. They've outlined what they want for 1.0. They answered a load of questions for the important stuff like how exactly insurance is going to work, but they haven't outlined a load of other stuff as well, like how's it going to work for FPS weapons and gear. Tell us more about medical insurance and Death of a Spaceman. How's that evolved? There's loads of stuff that still needs to be outlined, but they're getting there. There's starting to be less and less stuff now that are going, we need to know about this. Like, well, actually, they're getting pretty good at telling us. Maybe by the end of next year, we'll know everything that's going to be within 1.0. And you go, well, don't we know everything that's going to be in 1.0 now? No, we don't know the full extent of Death of a Spaceman. There's loads of other content that's going to be in 1.0. Basically, what they said with 1.0 stuff was, this is the stuff that when it's in, when all of this is in, 1.0 stuff we've outlined, that's when we consider it a 1.0 release, and that means no more resets. So really, 1.0 means no more resets. But there's loads of other stuff that's going to be coming before 1.0 is released. They have yet to show us. And with that 1.0 stuff as well, that's going to be coming, some of it, before 1.0 releases as well. So some bits and bobs well before 1.0 is released. Do I need a powerful gaming PC to play Star Citizen? To enjoy Star Citizen, you need a powerful gaming PC. that doesn't necessarily need to be top end now. I mean, you can get a mid-range gaming PC now, and it's more than great enough to play Star Citizen at like 1440p, high frame rate, look great. And will be when the game launches. And Star Citizen will be a lot more scalable and better performant, better at performing once they've sort of optimized Vulkan and graphics drivers are written with Star Citizen actually in mind. It's probably when Squadron 42 releases, right? So I'd want a good PC for it, but you don't need like top end or anything. You can go for something mid-range and get something for like under £1,000 or under $1,000 that will do your job for you. What else have we got here? Thank you very much for all the kind words, genuinely appreciated. Do you feel that a single shard is inevitable at some point, considering how multiple shards create a lot of problems to be solved back to base building? They are going to try and push the single shard agenda as much as possible. If it is possible to have a single shard, like Eve Tranquility, they will. If not, they'll use the next best solution. What is that next best solution? I don't 100% know yet. Any idea when they may release information on pricing and availability to purchase Squadron 42? Weird that they didn't start selling Squadron 42 again now. Next year it's got to be on sale, right? They're going to, I suspect next year that's when they're going to start their big campaign for Squadron 42. They've got a plan to release it in 2026. Now, it's one of the things that annoyed me the most about CitizenCon is twice they said, we've given you the dates now for Squadron 42's release. Or a date for Squadron 42. No, you haven't. You've given me a tentative year. And I had a tentative year in 2016 as well. Or 2015, about 2016. So, I was hoping for a hard date. That's not what we've had. But, based on the stuff they showed for Squadron, do you think they can make the 2026 deadline they showed? Yeah. They can make it. It depends on how much polish and tweaking they'll want to do before then. Like, they could push to have Squadron 42 done next year. But they're going to want it to be super polished, and it depends on how much micromanagement Chris is going to want to do, right? Chris is a visionary. He does micromanage stuff and try and be a perfectionist on stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be perfected in the way that he does it. Like, it doesn't need to be directed the amount he does. Maybe it does. But for some bits. When they're going to implement passenger transport, is that going to be a 1.0 career? Don't 100% know. We know that they've looked at taxiing in the past. We know that they've looked at VIP transport in the past. And some other similar bits and bobs. I suspect that it'll be part of what come before 1.0. Something we'll probably see next year. Don't know that for sure, though. Is it possible they can port Squadron 42 and Star Citizen to console? It's possible, yes. Possible, especially now with some more modern console stuff. With a 2026 release window, would it be fair to expect Squadron 42 shown at major conventions along with pre-sales to start? Yeah, you could see it at Jeff Keighley's sort of version of E3, whatever it's called. Summer Games Jam. No, what is it? What's the Games Fest and all that sort of stuff? Yes, yeah, for sure. Right, in fact, I suspect that is part of their plans for their traditional advertising campaign, whatever traditional is now. How long do you think it will take for CIG to put in the much anticipated features like Genesis, Star Systems, and Stellar Commission Tier 3? So, Pyro and all the systems beyond that will be built with Genesis, as far as I'm aware. and all that sort of tech. All that sort of tech should be coming into the game within the next sort of 12 months-ish, and they will be updating Stanton with it as well. I love you, Robert Johnston, by the way. Did you send another question in that I didn't read? Well, I'll come to it in a second if I haven't read it already. Thank you very much for the kind words. Thank you. Yeah, so the problems that people are having with 3.24.2 especially, it's because they're basically bug fixing for 4.0. It's based on the 4.0 code base. Is there any update on fixing the current server instability? So they deployed a load of hotfixes, which has genuinely helped. 3.24.3 should help a lot more, it seems. A lot of problems are apparently when they deploy to the live build, other unforeseen problems happen and sort of problems at scale. We're going to be able to create custom waypoints in the middle of space. So that is going to be real soon. Within the next 12 months. I suspect that we'll be able to do that for 4.1. So early next year, middle of next year. When do you think the PTU for 3.24.3 will have the stance of max for the IAE? So they should be putting in some of that IAE content, some of it, within the next couple of weeks. Obviously, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, I believe, starts 22nd of November. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's when it starts. The blueprints they spoke of for crafting can't be transferred or shared between characters once attributed. I believe that is correct. Can they be traded before they are claimed? Oh, good question. Don't know. So can you find a blueprint on like a pad, but not... don't eat it, but it's someone else? I would expect so, but I don't know. When will True Multi-Crew arrive? Depends what you mean by True Multi-Crew. 4.0, obviously engineering comes in properly. Did Nix come out at the same time as Poe? I don't believe so. I believe it will be sort of like, we'll see Nix next year. Yes, I have some secret notes. Does live actually work? So, I don't have many problems with live. It is unstable compared to previous non-3.24.2 builds, as it were. 3.23.4, sorry, 3.24.3 is in a pretty good state from what I can tell. The hotfixes they deployed on 3.24.2 have fixed a lot, but still has a reasonable amount of instability. Yeah, Pyro comes with 4.0. Where's Ben Lesnock? So he's, I believe, clinically blind now, partially sighted or something, so he's sort of semi-retired. I do believe he does some bits and bobs. I think he was working on Jump Point magazine as well. Yeah, so Alpha 4.0 is still targeted for the end of the year, so mid-December would be my expectation. Those in thinks more likely that will sort of be open PTU then, probably 4.0 live early next year. So there's no hard dates on it. With insurance, if I upgrade my ship to tier 5 and gets blown up, will any insurance cover the upgraded ship or possibly revert it back to tier 1? That's a really good question. So, I'm not sure if level 1 insurance covers upgrades that you've made to your ship. It might. I would suspect that tier 2 insurance, because it covers your components and weapons, will also include the upgrades. So one of the insurance levels will. It might just be that actually tier 1 insurance covers that upgraded ship. They have not, it's one of the questions that I still have, it's not fully clear. I need to mess around with the Tobii Eye Tracker more. I haven't done it at all with 4.0. Yeah, I haven't done it at all with 4.0. Done it with some of the previous Pyro builds, but not in 4.0. Oh, it's 4 a.m. with you. Oh my god. Thank you very much for being here, Rob Johnson. You are a beautiful boy. Thank you very much for the donations. Genuinely appreciated. No mention of repair at CitizenCon. Do you think it was just something that was overlooked? Well, it's part of engineering. It's part of 4.0. So they actively didn't really show much 4.0 stuff because they said they wanted to look beyond it. And so you've got engineering, and engineering is going to be iterated on, and repair and stuff is going to be iterated on. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the whole NPC crew situation. So, NPC crew going to be coming after 1.0's launch, probably after 1.0's launch. Like it's actually possible they'll have it before. Something they said they would have before 1.0 is AI blades, which will give you some ability to solo larger ships. You will be able to NPC crew those ships in the future, just not with what they consider 1.0. So the stuff in 1.0, depending on your Star Citizen scale of development, is relatively arbitrary. The only main thing that 1.0 gives you is no more resets, yeah? And potentially dynamic server meshing. But there's loads more Star Citizen coming after that. And it might be like, you are going to wait until that other stuff's ready, or it might be like, well, actually, I'm going to start my Star Citizen career now. Kind of bummed that lifetime insurance is only tier 1 insurance. I think that's fine, right? Like, why would it be more than level 1 insurance for your LTI ship? Like, you haven't bought the weapons and components separately. So, and level 1 is the hull and all of the base components, all of the default components. I think that's totally exactly what lifetime insurance should be. Yeah, you can upgrade it in game. What do you think the time frame realistically that CIG will be able to bring 1.0 out the door is? Oh, I think you could have it, from what they've stated, potentially at the end of 2026, or at least 1.0 in testing. It might be a bit overly confident. I think it's a possibility. You know if modding private servers are still a possibility? I've got some answers on this. I need to ask CIG some bits and bobs, because basically I've got two answers, just slightly contradictory, from two different people. And basically they range from, they're still planning to potentially support it later, but not for 1.0, and that's their focus. Or, yes, we've always intended to do that. I need to question CIG more. Bear with me on that, Jaybird. I had a couple of other quite big ones answered as well, which again I got contradictory answers from people. They're not necessarily contradictory either, but they. I need deep context for a couple of things. Should NPCs react special way if you nutshot them? It depends on their. Well, some of them, yeah. Good co-op board games that aren't complicated. Horrified. Loads of different versions of Horrified. That's a great entry-level co-op game where you can sort of up the complication level a bit by having different monsters that you're playing against. just move around the board, try and defeat these monsters. They've got different mechanics to defeat them based on which monsters you're fighting. And there's those different versions of it. I've just bought the Greek monsters and Cthulhian monsters one. But there's like American monsters and British monsters, movie monsters. So it depends on what level of co-op you want to go as well. There's like semi-co-op stuff like Matches of Madness is absolutely fantastic. Nemesis, absolutely fantastic. They're you know the rules, they're really easy. Things like Pandemic, and people really, really, really love. Tell me other games you played and other games you like. I can find you some board games. Do you think CIG will remaster the Freelancer at some point? So all ships are going to be brought up to gold standard and tweaked. That is what I will say. And a lot of the older ships, including the Freelancer, will get a little bit more of a makeover, but not a huge one. We've waited 12 years already, and 10 years for me personally, and I'm disappointed to wait even longer, but I'm willing to wait if it means that they don't have to implement months of crunch to get it done. Yeah, I mean, so I am a big fan of what they're doing with Star Citizen, not necessarily the time it takes for stuff to get done, but if you talk to the devs and stuff that work there, they are pretty passionate. They love what they do. I'm hoping that this turns out to be a great way of making a game. Any idea why Bounty Hunting's next dev tier still hasn't been released? So, I want to see Bounty Hunting 2.0 next year. I don't know really when Bounty Hunting 2.0 is coming, but I am expecting it. It makes sense for the Open Pyro. It makes sense for them to want it by 1.0. Yeah, I think it's soon. I think it's real soon. I'm surprised they didn't talk about it. Or do you think the chances that we see prologue only playable demo for Squadron 42 next year? It's possible. I don't know the plans on it. But because they showed it all off, right? It's not a secret. It's quite possible, right? They'll go, yeah. We'll have prologue. You bought Squadron 42. You get to play Chapter 1. Did they specify on what kind of rewards you get for animal hunting? Because I don't think we're holding back a sandworm anytime soon. So it was the sandworm pearls, which are like barnacles on them that you break open. They've got pearls and teeth that you'd remove. So it'll be like a couple per monster, from what I understand. Like Microtech, it might be some of its fur and its eyes. The Microtech Yeti. Did you ever visit Nick's landing zone before it was removed from Saturn? Yes, multiple times. Belamar, Levski, Nick's landing zone, whatever you want to call it. The 2026 release window, would it be fair to expect Squadron 42 shown at major conventions along with... that's what we talked about earlier. When are they going to implement passenger transport? Is it going to be 1.0 as correct? I would expect it to come in before 1.0. That's my expectation, not a confirmation, because they have not talked about it for a while. But we do know that last year they wanted to put in taxiing and VIPing. And it got deprioritized. So I do think it will still be a thing. Yeah, so Squadron 42, expected to be available to purchase again next year. That's my expectation. Have you heard anything on the accessibility of the Carrack's cargo bay, and if they're working on it? So I'm expecting them to address it during the IAE. So by the end of November, I would expect them to go, this is a statement on the Carrack, this is the plan. Pardon me, I do apologise. As I said, I am ill. Was there anything you expected to see at CitizenCon but wasn't shown? I expected to see Squadron 42 actual hard release date. I expected to see Squadron 42 celebrities actually there in person. No, maybe most of the other stuff that I wanted to sort of was either shown or talked about. I would have liked to have seen bounty hunting. Yeah. I was hoping to see Idris actually released. And they go, yeah, player Idris. I know that they've said that's basically coming with the Squadron. But, what else? Anything else? Boop, boop, boop. So yeah, really excited for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. We've got tons of stuff to go through with CitizenCon still, like tons and tons and tons. And me being ill has made me a lot slower than I would have hoped. I came back from CitizenCon like, because I went on an office tour. I haven't even gone through the footage on my phone. Yeah. So all ships will be brought up to gold standard. So, and for 4.0, this means for most of them getting all the components and engineering consoles and everything like that, and sometimes some of them separating different functionality to different stations. But some of this will come later after 4.0 for some of the other ships, but probably pretty soon after. And expect that some ships to get a little facelift to bring them up to gold standard, bring them in line with the current looks. But this is they've been doing it with like MFDs and stuff as well, but they haven't finished doing the MFDs for ships. Any idea when Bounty Hunting's next dev tier? Right. Yes, so for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, we know that they're going to be, well, it looks like, I should say, that they're going to have the Polaris, the Mirai Guardian, and the... what is the other one? And another one. What's the other ship? The Starlancer Max. We can get away next year, next month, next year. So we know that they're going to be there, and they're almost certainly going to be available, flyable, all that sort of jazz. Sorry, I've not seen the end of this Squadron 42 demo because at CitizenCon that demo was broken. Yeah. So I don't know what was happening or what's going on. So at the end of that demo, Gillian Anderson couldn't take the weapon off. You couldn't take the weapon off her, and I don't know what happened. It all broke. So I haven't seen the very end in this. So I was like, but yeah. So we know those ships are going to be there. We also know that there's the possibility that some other ships are going to be there, such as the Terrapin Medic, the Crusader Intrepid. What other ones are we thinking that there might be? The Hornet Mark II variants, and potentially some other little surprises. But yeah, very, very excited for the IAE this year. It'll be interesting to see if we are going to be in a position where Star Citizen's going to break records again for money. It's about 5 million down from last year so far. And that's mainly just because they did not make as much money in October. But there was less on sale than there was previous October, I think. And they seem to be saving a lot of the hype up for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. So that will define whether or not this is another record-breaking year. Any idea why the Stellanza build wasn't available for concept sale? So, not 100%. So it might be that they're, because it's all the building ships, right, and all the building stuff. It might be that they're going to go, let's sell it at the IAE and have it sort of like a, bam, the building stuff's on sale. Or it might be them waiting for more building, for the building mechanics to be closer to release before they sell it. So, yeah, I don't know. I am on a big old diet again now. I've been so tubby. Eating so badly recently. Will the Intrepid be a little starter ship? I think it's just going to be a little Crusader starter ship. With all vehicles getting medbeds, we'll be able to go up. All vehicles? What are you talking about? Have they talked about increasing speed in SCM mode? They've talked about tweaking speeds and evolving master modes. You think Chris's vision is causing goal pushing? No. I do think, however, that Chris is... Okay, you've got lots of forces pulling at this game, yeah? One of them is Chris's vision, and he's going to want it to be as perfect as possible because he's given as much time and money as he needs to do that, yeah? So he just wants it to be as perfect as possible, full stop. And then you've got the other people, the community obviously trying to just get that game, sort of pulling it, going, make the game bliss. And some people go, no, take your time. But you've got the sort of managers in the company and the directors in the company, like Aaron, Rich, and people making this stuff a reality and going, no, we need to release this. We need to get this out. We need to make concessions on this. So, I mean, there's all that going on, and there's a discussion between all these people, and the game gets made. So, very much, you'll see the Aaron Roberts and Rich Tyrier and some other people's influences on trying to go, no, we're going with this, or we'll try and go for Chris's vision, but let's put it to reality, and then convincing him of that. How's boarding? I'm doing really well. I'm settled into my place pretty well. There's still a few more bits and bobs I want to get done around the house. I tidied up my basement the other day so that it's sort of ready for being a gym, because it's a 3D printing studio, painting studio. It's where I do my wrapping for a load of my one of my other businesses. It's also a little gym. I've got a running machine and TV and stuff down there now. Nicely ordered. I want to get it decorated soon. Really, I need a wall plastered, but we'll see. Doesn't need to be. It'd be nice to be. Next year, I'm going to get my garden done, so that I can actually have barbecues in there, and it'd be nice. Need to have my doorbell and camera put up. But yeah, it's going well. I'm just suffering from quite bad back pain at the moment, and a cold, which has been annoying. And yeah, so the combination of that means very little sleep. I'm doing all right. I'm playing lots of Deadlock in the evenings, although I'm so salty when I play Deadlock. Oh, I want to be a better man when I play games, and I'm just awful. I just complain and bitch and accuse everyone of cheating. Some of them are cheating. Do you think the Galaxy controversy will hurt ship sales for IAE, like the backers not trusting what CIG says about the ships and features? What do you mean? Surely they should trust CIG more. Because CIG went, we'll stick to what we said on these. It's made them more trustworthy, right? Or am I wrong? The controversy was CIG basically forgot or changed what the large ship, base building ship was. And some people expected it to be the Galaxy to have a module to do it. They never sold the module for the Galaxy. They just said in 2023 it will be able to do large base building. That's the plan. And then they went, okay, yeah, we'll still make sure it does that. We'll still make sure there's a module for it. And in the future, we want you to have confidence that when we say something in Inside Star Citizen or on stage or whatever, that's going to be done. So, when do you think they'll drop DirectX 11? So they should almost certainly do that, potentially with 4.0. Like, it's getting to the stage now where Vulkan integration is getting reasonably good. It might be like 4.1. Can you give me an invite to Deadlock? Probably. I think you can free this on them out. Drop me a message on Discord, Rockstar. Do you think CIG has given up on building interiors? No, they talked about building interiors and that sort of stuff as part of one of the panels that was Beyond Pyro, I think. One of the panels they talked about the municipal works and the depths, and they've been working on Area 18's interior buildings, but they've been working on interior buildings for lots of stuff. They didn't show much of that in game. Are you doing your own home renovations or hiring people? I'm doing anything that I can do easily myself without any problem, which is like putting up curtain rails and stuff like that. But I am getting people. I'm hiring people to do painting. I'm hiring people to do any electrical work and stuff like that. I've got a bit of plumbing knowledge. I don't have a drill at the moment. I'll buy a drill. I could probably put up my doorbell myself. But I don't have a drill at the moment, so I'd need to buy a drill. What's your dream ship? They've already done it. Mercury Steron, I love it. I'm really looking forward to the Pioneer as well. After 1.0 is live, how many years from now? What systems would you like to see added for 1.1? So I'd like them to expand out to Odin. That makes sense, right? And like have Magnus and anything like that all connected. I want to see Sol. They're building towards the Lear system because they've got some of the stuff in game for that already. Will there be some form of Squadron 42 beta? So it's quite possible they'll do that for Ibacardi or something just before release would be my expectation. So literally like a month before release. They're not going to want much in the way of leaks, so you minimise that by having it quite close to release. Are you the Asuna I know, Asuna? If so, welcome. I have not talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. What's your thoughts on NPC crews not being available at launch? So, for 1.0, I think it's arbitrary what was in 1.0 anyway, so they'll be coming later, and you'll have AI blades for 1.0, is what they said. It's possible they'll come for 1.0, but it's just, unlikely. They do want larger ships to be run by multiple players, we're sensible, right? They showed off the 5 systems that they're bringing to the game before 1.0, or as part of. Why would they not show Magnus as the jump caters are in the game? I know. As in, Magnus is going to be a quite simple system for them to do. Might be one that they've got planned soon after. you think that CIG have done announced enough to silence the vaporware naysayers? No, never. Even when the game is released and in people's hands, there will still be people saying that. And there'll still be people that go, see, I proved this. This proves it's a scam. You'll have people that say that. You just will. I will be covering each day of the IAE. I'm ready for IAE. My body is ready. I'm excited. Do you think we could see NPCs using the tram system before 1.8? Yeah. You'll see NPCs moving around. You'll probably see NPCs as potentially even as buddies, and as part of missions and things like that, and potentially even as people that you can transport. Right. I hope you're doing well, Space Dad. Can you talk more about cargo missions? Any good updates to that system in the works? So there's a load of cool cargo updates. So we know that they've got for the Nix system, they've been building out exterior cargo panels for like the hull series. So I have to, it's prioritized for them. I'll be able to take cargo straight off them and stick them onto the exterior, basically, of a cargo grid, and that's an elevator. There's loads of cool stuff like that coming in, a load more expansive cargo missions, making use of those cargo mechanics that we have in game now, or that are coming with 4.0. So you'll have a load of stuff to do with hauling. What's your opinion on how crafting levels be applied to purchase ships? Will all ships bought be tier 1? I would expect so, yes, unless you bought them off another player. There might be some other situations they haven't really answered stuff like that, but I believe the idea is to get a ship, research it, upgrade it. When you think we'll get alien systems? Don't know. That is the big one, right? Like, Nix will be close to Vandal Space. What's your thought on armor classes? What class armor did you want to see? So I'm quite happy with things like the tracker armor. I like heavyish armor, and that gives me the ability to not be ambushed. Oh, Quats of Quelling Bow is absolutely fantastic game, but not co-op. Quite the opposite. Love Quacks. Will NPCs still stand on furniture? If they need to, yeah. Hello. Thoughts on the Pioneer update? And will they remove Hull Limited? I think it's going to be Hull Limited still. Love the Pioneer updates. I mean, they've only improved that yet. No one's complaining about the Pioneer being updated. It's just the Galaxy being nerfed, right? But you know, they U-turned on that. So really excited for the Pioneer changes, because they basically just gone, this is a mobile base that has the biggest drones for the biggest base building and space station building, and yeah, you want to do fabrication or build vehicles or whatever, you can do, and have a med base and stuff. It's all in this ship anyway. It's all in the Pioneer. Oh, that's awesome. Nix or Squadron first? Oh. Potentially around the same time. Potentially, I'd say Nix first. My favorite part of CitizenCon was the Planet Tech. Yeah, the Genesis stuff and the Planet Tech V5 stuff's cool. Forest looked amazing. What was your favorite part? I mean, I love the Squadron 42 stuff. It was pretty cool. Base building. It's got to be the base building and Captains of Industry panels sort of combined. I did like the sandworm stuff because it was silly. Obviously, it's quite early. Do you think we'll be able to build player-owned stations way out in the middle of nowhere, or are they limited to planets and moons? Oh, good question. Don't know. Why wouldn't you be able to build them in the middle of nowhere? I think you'd be able to build them in space. Might be limited to certain systems, but yeah. Pardon me. Sorry. Some more 3.24.3 updates on the PTU later. Cool. I'd like to hear. Appreciated. Thank you very much for the highlighting that message of the day. Do you think Vandal raids will be more frequent in places like Nyx? Yeah. I mean, they'll be part of the mission sets there and stuff as well, right? There'll be global events for things like that are much larger scale and more scary. Each of the star systems is going to basically have their own set of dynamic events. Some of them might just be cleverly reskinned and tweaked versions of others, but do you think Magnus come with the Squadron 42 release? I think that realistically, the 5 systems are what we're going to get for 1.0 and before Squadron. Yeah, it's going to be a little while later before they put more systems in go, because they'll go, what star systems do we want to do next and why? But I think Magnus is probably in the next one, right? It's probably the 6th. What's your opinion on Star System 1.0 and the ability for solo and smaller groups to do endgame content? Or do you think the endgame content is more limited to larger orgs? So there is going to be endgame content that is endgame for solo players and endgame for orgs. And some of the endgame for org stuff is building space stations and the sort of space station wars. That's not intended for solo players. Although solo players will be able to get involved with that to a degree by, mercenarying themselves out. What are you expecting to be talked about, announced at the IE? Well, a load of the ships that we talked about earlier. I'm hoping they'll go through some stuff and address stuff like with the Carrack. Maybe talk a little bit about 4.0 and whether it's still planned for the end of the year. But typically they look at a load of ships and say, look, this is where we are with some of them. Hopefully they talk about the Banning Merchantman. I'm hoping to see, as I said earlier, the Polaris just ready and we've got the Mirai Guardian and Starlance Max, they've said as well, this should be there. And I think that we might be seeing the Crusade Intrepid and that Terrapin Medic and those Hornet Mark II variants. But we'll have to wait and see. Right! Thank you very much for all of you watching. Genuinely appreciated. I am going to get the podcast I did with Zin out. So we talk about a bit more about CitizenCon and 4.0 and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I got Zin's opinions on the Galaxy drama that just happened. I know he talked about that later at the weekend, but I did want to talk to her. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the kind questions. I'm on the tail end of a cold. I'm going to have a coffee and lie down and get this video up as well. But genuinely appreciated for you watching. There's loads and loads of stuff for us to do still for CitizenCon, from summaries to the secret book of answers, stuff like that. So, and I'm super excited for Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Thank you so much for watching. We'll find someone that is streaming, actually, I can send you over to. For those of you on Twitch or that want to move over from YouTube, I'll send you over to one of my buddies, Moist Noodle, because I love the boy. I saw him at CitizenCon and gave him a giant hug. He's a good chap. Flash Raid. Boop. Right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great time. And I hope you had at least passable October. Hope November is better. And CitizenCon. Woo! It was good. I enjoyed it. Hope you did as well. And I hope you will be enjoying the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and other stuff. Star Citizen. Woo!